What is going on, guys? Welcome to a brand new YouTube video. Before this starts, first link in the description, Deadlifts for Dude, our charity powerlifting event is live, or you can sign up for it if you want to spectate, you want to compete, you have to have a ticket. Click the link down in the description. All proceeds go to animal shelters. It's going to be a great time. Sign up. It's at Alpha Land. You have 12 weeks. Get strong. And now let's begin. And I want to say that this Q&A is going to be different than my normal stuff. It's not about relationships or life or that. It's going to be about the behind the scenes of what I do, business, money. Maybe you'll find this interesting, or I'll never do it again. Comment down below. Hey Max, even if there's a fire in the future and you can only upload one YouTube video for the rest of your life, just skip the upload because I hated this topic. But we're trying something new. So here we go. First question, you seem to be affected by your social media stagnating. Why don't you do things to grow? Because I don't want to, and I'm stuck in my ways, and I'm an old man just yelling at a cloud about how, no, my content's really good. Why are these kids getting so many views? Look, I used to be a 100% content creator, and now I am not. Now I'm a business owner who also loves making YouTube videos that are about his life, which is about business. And yes, I could go all in on content creation and go it's just YouTube has changed. I mean, look at everyone, right? Everyone's views are down. Everyone's kind of complaining about it. But what's working right now? Mr. Beast type of content, Jesse James West type of content. Not knocking any of that, but that's not me. I have no interest in doing that type of content. So it's unless I want to change who I am, which I don't, then this is what I can produce where I still enjoy making the videos. Yes, I'm bummed about the views going down. It's who wouldn't? It's why would you want everything to go like this, and you're constantly evolving, and then out of nowhere, it's just like this, But you got to accept it. It's if you're not evolving, you're going to die off. And I'm you know what? I'll just stick with the people who continue to want to see me grow these businesses because that is what I enjoy making content for. And if I don't enjoy making content, I'm not going to make any more content, What kind of payment terms do big retail outlets demand? What is your cash cycle? So if you don't know, when you go into retailers, they have a thing called net payment terms. And generally, an example one would be 2, 10, 30. And that means 2% discount if they pay in 10 days, but they have up to 30 days to pay. But if they pay after 10 days, there's no discount. It sounds confusing. Basically, when you go into retail, they have an X amount of time to pay you. It could be 15 days, it could be 30 days, it could be 45 days. And that's just you can negotiate a little bit, but they're hey, send us the product and within 15, 30, 45 days, we'll pay you. But if we pay you in 10 days, we get a discount. But we can just not get a discount and wait that long. Or some places, no matter when they pay you, they have 45 days and they're still gonna take a discount. Look, I don't understand why that's a thing. I don't know who invented payment terms. I get the idea of hey, if I pay early, could I have a little discount? But when it's just a requirement, when they're just hey, if you wanna come in our store, this is the requirement, I don't necessarily understand it, but you have to respect it and you have to do it. And it can get a little frustrating because, it's hey, I have to monitor my cash flow because especially when you go into a new retailer, they are just gonna be requiring a ton of cash to support that amount of product going into the stores, but also you're not gonna get paid on that for a certain amount of time. And in that time, they're gonna continue to place orders. And then eventually you get to a point, hopefully if your product's selling at an accelerated rate, that once you get past that first kind of tough period of the payment terms, then you should start, seeing more regular payments because those payment terms are kind of after the first 30 days, now you're getting paid for that one, but then the next week is from the other week, and and then you start getting into a cyclical motion. So it's not that bad now, but definitely when we rolled out into Target and we had this big HEB event, it was all at the same time, and there was a lot of payment terms, and we needed so much inventory for those launches that the bank account for Sour Strips literally got depleted to the point where I was this is bad. I didn't let anyone know about it. I didn't let my team know about it. Now, the money's gonna come in, but you have to survive for 30, 45 days, right? And yeah, we're in a much better place now. And managing your cash flow, very important. Very, 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 very important. Was it difficult sourcing for products and getting started? Lean Beef Patty. We have a podcast coming up with her. It's like a yes and a no. All the information is out there for whatever you want to start, whatever business you want to start. I'd say on the easier side, clothing. On the more difficult side, candy or like beverages or drinks. There's a lot more of like layers you need to go to for some businesses, but the information is out there. I think a lot of people get paralysis by analysis. They start thinking that it's so impossible to start these businesses. It's so impossible. How can I find a manufacturer for this? How do I find a supplier for this? First of all, a big part of being a business owner is figuring out stuff. It's solving problems. It's putting out little fires, right? So if you can't even like begin the task of finding the first problem to even start a business, then maybe that's not the right business for you, because you're gonna have that's gonna be the least of your concerns once you start going, right? Of how many things you're gonna have to figure out. So just put your head down, get onto Google, and trust me, the easiest way is like, if there's another brand that has a product similar to what you're trying to create, a service or a product, then you can figure out how to also, create that type of service or product. And hopefully you spin it in your own way, whatever that is. And I hope you're successful, but you can absolutely find everything on Google. I didn't have anyone that told me exactly where, even like clothing. I didn't know where to find a clothing manufacturer. My buddy Peter, at the time, it was kind of more taboo to share that kind of stuff. He wouldn't tell me, so I literally had to figure it out. But if you Google, gym clothing overseas manufacturer, boom, you're gonna probably find some stuff. So Google is how you figure it all out. Do you use credit lines to fund your inventory and purchases for suppliers? So the answer is like yes and no. I am very fortunate with Starships and all my businesses that I've never needed to take a loan or put money into the business besides my initial investment, which was $50,000 for Starships. And the fact that we've grown Starships from this $50,000 investment to what it is today in the 8 figures is mind-blowing when I think about it. And I know I'd love to be like, it's because I'm so smart and suave with my business acumen and my knowledge, and I knew exactly what to do, and I managed the payment terms right. No, I was scared a lot. I didn't know what I didn't know what I was doing. I still don't know what I'm doing for a lot of stuff. So yeah, the fact that I was able to take $50,000 and turn it into what it is today is crazy. But a credit line for business, think of it like a credit card if you're unfamiliar with what a credit line is. It's the same kind of thing. With a credit card, hey, you have a $10,000 maximum, you can spend up to $10,000, you gotta pay it back, and if you don't pay it back in that month, you pay interest on it. I preach credit cards, but I'm always like, pay it in full. You can get lines of credit for your business, which I just recently kind of like started, but I got approved by one bank for a $300,000 line of credit. That means I can take $300,000 of the bank's money, and I don't need to touch my money, and I can like buy $300,000 worth of inventory, right? And then I have 30 days to pay that $300,000 back with no penalty, no fees, no interest. But as soon as I go beyond that 30 days, I need to start paying interest. So as long as I pay in that 30 days, the same way I would tell anyone to pay off their credit card, then it's fine. And luckily we have the cash to not need to use credit terms, but it is definitely a tool that I have at my disposal that if I want to, for whatever reason, use someone else's money, buy the product, sell the product, get the money for the product and pay it all back before I need to pay that $300,000 back, I can do it risk-free. But you need to be smart with it, and you need to be at a point in your business where you can pay it back, because that is how people go into debt. They're like, I'm gonna pay it back. Oh crap, I missed the terms because I relied on this line of credit. I relied on buying things I can't afford with my credit card. And then you're like, oh, it's okay, it's only 2%, interest. So you pay a little bit more on interest on what you took out. And then you start going down this rabbit hole, because then you need to take more money, and it's never a good idea to go into debt. Yes, it's a whole nother conversation of like good debt and bad debt, and it's okay to be in debt. I prefer, if I have the cash, to buy things in full, but there's definitely advantages and strategies to using other people's money to pay for stuff because you can leverage it, but it's a deep conversation because you gotta be smart with it, but you just don't wanna be in debt. And if you borrow however much money, you don't wanna pay interest on that unless the money that you're borrowing, you can put into something that's making more interest. It gets complicated, right? I don't like to be complicated, I like to be simple. If I borrow money, I'm gonna pay that bitch back before I need to owe interest, and then my hands are clean, you know? If you had to give just one money tip, what would that be, senor? Tu habla español? I would say be frugal for as long as possible. I think one of the biggest reasons why I think I'm so financially stable is that, two reasons. First of all, I never there was never a point in my 10 years of being on YouTube where I had this like crazy financial success. I just year over year, just slowly grow, right? And because I had no money to start, even when I started getting money, I was very scared it was never gonna keep happening. And I was just smart, and I wasn't buying crazy stuff that cost me more than I was making. And I always thought that, hey, this isn't gonna happen forever. Let's keep saving, let's be smart with our money. So I would definitely say live as frugally as possible. Yes, it's okay, I think, when you get to a certain point financially to elevate your life a little bit, but you truly have to do it very strategically or smart, because it's easy for when you start making more money to increase your lifestyle at that same rate, and you start getting down the rabbit hole of wanting to keep doing that as you scale. And if my life is here and my income is here, I wait until my income is here before I make my life here. Does that make sense? Whereas some people, they scale it the exact same way. So it's live below your means until you understand finances in depth and you can be smart about it. And then the second thing, well, I said what was the second thing? Wow, I don't know. This is just who I am as a person. I forget what I was talking about. My next tip would just be use credit cards for everything. And again, a lot of people give me flack about this. I know Dave Ramsey would be like, no, don't do that. But just, if you, I would love to have an argument with someone, because I just can't wrap my head around this. If you get a credit card, as long as you can control yourself and treat it like a debit card and auto pay it in full every month, I cannot wrap my head around why you would not have a credit card. And some people would be like, well, it's because if you have a credit card and you know you can actually buy more things, it's gonna subconsciously make you buy more things. No! If you're that type of person, then don't get it, okay? If you're a normal person who can make normal rash decisions and not buy things they can't afford just because the credit card says your limit is $10,000, but if you only make $5,000 a month, don't buy $10,000 worth of shit, you know what I'm saying? It seems like common sense, and I guess I'm talking to the people that are like me. It's you just treat it like a debit card. You only buy the things you can afford. You pay it off every single month, and then you make cash back. Why wouldn't you do that? It's the best thing ever. But it's a touchy subject. I'm just rolling through these. Ashley asks, would love to know how you learned to edit and how long it takes you. I learned to edit a long time ago when I used to be a skateboarder. I had a bunch of cameras, and that was what I was passionate about, and I would make little shitty skate videos and little jackass imitation videos, and I would edit on a program called Sony Vegas, which sucks so much ass. Do not use that program. But I used Vegas 5 when I was 16, and then when I started making YouTube videos, I started using Vegas 11 or 12 because that was the program I remembered, so I kind of knew the basics of it. But it's all about just starting, and everyone thinks that you need to be an expert at everything before you can start. No, just jump into that deep end even if you can't swim. Well, no, that's not good. You should at least be able to make sure you don't drown, but you get what I'm saying, right? I think people just get so afraid to try something they haven't done before. Guys, this is how I live my life. If someone else can do it, Maxie can do it too. Say that to yourself. If your name is Susan, if someone else can do it, Susan can do it too. You think that person's better than you, Susan? No, Susan, You're the shit. Go Susan, go Maxi Poo, go David, go Brad, go John, go Alex, go Taylor. I love you. Go Alexa, I don't know, whatever your name is. You can do it too. And now it takes me to edit a video. If you look at any of my vlogs, it takes me probably an hour and a half to edit that. I've learned to less is more. I've learned that because of where my YouTube is and how much time I want to put into my YouTube videos, it doesn't make sense to spend 10 hours editing a vlog and make it the sickest like edit ever, because I'm like, that's not my, people don't come to my channel for my cinematic edits, right? They come for my beautiful personality, right? So it's gonna take everyone different amounts, but you're gonna get better as you go. Just trust in yourself, believe in yourself, do the damn thing. Peter, how do you deal with employee turnover? Luckily, you know, it was a while ago I had mentioned, I think I was doing the podcast with Oz, and I was like, no one has quit who works at our company. And we are actually having our first, well, I take that back. People have like come and gone in the warehouse when they kind of come for a temporary job and they leave for whatever reason, right? I'm talking about kind of like key roles where people have been for a long period of time. We are having our first employee quit, and it is Corey, who I know I haven't shown a lot on the YouTube channel, but he is the one who takes and edits. He does a lot more than this, but all the photos you see on Starships, the Instagram, Corey, did I call him Cody? Corey, what? My brain is imploding. Did I say Cody first? Corey, who's Cody? I don't even know a Cody. Corey edits and takes all those photos, and he is quitting. Not because I suck, I don't think so, but he is going on and following his dreams and trying out entrepreneurship. And when he told me, he was like really, really nervous. And I was like, bro, I'm excited for you. You know, it's like I tell all my employees that I would love it if you worked for me forever. I'm gonna do what I can to keep growing the company to be able to help you financially succeed year over year and pay you as much as I can. That makes it has to make financial sense for where the business is and how much our cash flow is. But like, I'm gonna do everything I can to grow the business so that all my employees can have as much growth in it as possible. That is like literally my goal. I want everyone to succeed. But I also understand that some people have dreams and ambitions, and people who stay don't, but you get what I'm saying. Like, some people want to go out on their own. And I am all for that, especially as someone who did that myself. And I know the nervousness that people have. And I want to make sure that everyone has the confidence from me that I'll support them in whatever decision they make. And if people are ready to leave, you have to just accept it. And hopefully, I guess it's different if you had people leaving because of like the workplace environment or you as a boss or something like that. And that's where you kind of need to internally look. And, you know, I'm always trying to be the best boss and leader I can be. I'm probably not at all times. And it's just I'm learning how to be a boss. But if people are ready to flap their wings, you just have to support them and be behind them 100%. And it's going to be one day when a lot of my employees, a lot of people on the team, they do go flap their wings. And I've told them, I'm like, I know the day potentially may come for a lot of you. And when you're ready, just please give me enough heads up so I can find a replacement. But I'm going to miss you a lot. Best of luck. And I'm happy for you. And yeah, it was because also, a little side tangent, when I quit my job, I was super nervous when I picked up the phone because my boss was back in Richmond, Virginia, and I was up in DC. And I was so worried that he was gonna be like angry at me or try to talk me out of it. But when I was like, his name was Jason, I was like, Jason, this was in July of 2016. I was like, hey, I'm quitting, motherfucker. No, I was like, hey, I'm gonna follow my dreams. I'm gonna try to be a YouTuber. And he's like, you idiot. No, he was like, I knew this was coming. I would do the same thing if I was you, if I was younger. And it's like, why not? You never know until you know. He was very supportive of it. And he also was like, and if it doesn't work out, you got a job. And if anyone who works for me leaves, they can always come back. So yeah, with turnover, you just have to accept it. People are gonna leave, and it's probably rare that people are gonna stay with you forever. But I hope they do. I hope that I allow people to have the job environment where they can flourish and continue to grow. That's the key. Is I think people just want to continue to evolve and grow, and if they feel like they're stagnated in the job, and there are certain positions where like maybe there isn't as much growth, and maybe it's like you need to learn a new skill set so you can go to a different position in the company, right? But yeah, this is getting long. That's what she said. 20 minutes. Oh my God. There's so many questions, dude. When it came to Starships, did you have any hesitation on starting the company and how to get past it? Yeah, I definitely had hesitations because everyone that I talked to who was in kind of the CPG space, I talked to a lot of business partners who were in like the energy drink world, none that you guys maybe, not like the Ghost guys, or it wasn't like Christian, it was like other people. And they were telling me like how difficult it's gonna be, how much you need to make the product for, and you have to sell it for this, and if you don't, you're gonna fail because it's like impossible, and all the big guys are doing this, and it was very scary. So I guess the doubt that it would succeed was definitely in my brain. I had a lot of people just telling me that it's like, yeah, how are you gonna compete with the big boys, Max? How are you gonna compete with them? And I was like, I think I can try. At one point, they were small like me. At one point, it's like, again, but I was like, if someone else can do it, so can Maxie. It's full circle, baby. So I guess the doubt was my hesitation. And again, if you go back and watch, like, if you've been watching my videos for a long time, like when I announced like Project X and I had like a sample, it was a long time before Starships was released because we tried, I had business partners at the time, and I tried, I tried creating the company with these business partners, and it just didn't work out. And then I gave up for like 6 months. I moved to Texas. I was like, maybe it just, this is why people don't start candy companies, because it's hard as shit. And then I was like, you know what, Max? You can do this. Dude looked at me and he's like, woof. And then I got on Google and I Googled my little heart out, and boom, Starships was born, baby. Do you realistically see EF making a big comeback with all the Starships success? I would love for Everforward to continue to grow. I think it's an amazing company. I don't talk about it as much as I should, and I really never have, because I always, it's interesting. I feel like I never talk about the behind the scenes of Everforward. I never did. I would talk about launches and stuff, but like, I always thought people got annoyed by me talking about it. But then I'm like, I think people like seeing you talk about something you're passionate about, and I was just nervous to talk about Everforward because I was like, everyone's talking about clothing. I don't want to seem like I'm just shilling clothing all the time. But as you can see, I love talking about Starships because I'm like, no, that's more interesting. But it's like, I think people just want to hear things that people have passion for, and I do for clothing, and I love like in our travel bags, and I really want to get into more travel accessories. Do I think Everforward can continue to have a great financial success of a journey and create products that I'm super proud of and, put things out into the world that people love? Yes. Do I think Everforward will ever be where Starships is at this point in my life of where everything is? No, not even close. Again, I was putting my entire world, all of my efforts into Everforward for 5 years, 6 years, and it grew. Imagine I put like 6 years nonstop focus, everything I cared about into the clothing, or at least I thought I was. It's what I was thinking about day and night. I was working so hard on it. You guys saw me do the late night, packing orders. And imagine it gets to here after 6 years, okay? And then imagine you start something, Starships, and in the first year, it goes to here. And 3 years into Starships, it's above the camera. It's kind of like the writing's on the wall of where to put the more effort. And, maybe clothing wasn't my thing. I still think we have amazing stuff, but I'm definitely not giving up on Everforward right now. I love it, and it's going to continue to thrive, but it doesn't need to be a Starships for me to still have passion for it. So, will Everforward be a Starships? No. But, it is what it is. Make an Amazon list of essential podcast equipment. I don't know if you guys know this, probably not because I never talked about it, but I have an Amazon store. And maybe, do people think that's being a sellout? I don't know. If you want to know anything that I own, whether it's something that I use with Dude, whether it's the stuff in my house, anything that I have purchased on Amazon, it is down in the description in my store, podcast, camera equipment, all the lights, and I even put little descriptions of what I use that item for. So it's down there. If you buy it on Amazon, I make a little commission on it. There's no discount or anything, but it's like, if you're gonna buy it anyway, here's exactly what I buy. You're gonna get it. I make a commission. Dude lives a better life. Yeah, I have an Amazon store. It's down in the description. How did you learn how to follow food packaging compliance? If you didn't know this, there's a lot of do's and don'ts of food packaging. For this, I tried Googling, and you definitely could find everything you need. I decided to be a little bit more safe, and I went with there's a lot of lawyers and, agencies and whatnot that they specialize in this to make sure you don't forget anything. But for example, it's like on nutrition labels. You know how stuff says like there's just exacts that things have to be, from the size of the fonts to where things need to be on the label to on nutrition boxes, how it has like a little box around all the labels, and then like under it has, contains wheat. I didn't know, you can't put the contains wheat up in that same box. There's specifics with food that there's things you have to say, there's things you can't say, and with that, I wanted to be more safe than sorry and not just be like, I Googled it really good. So I hired an agency for that, or a lawyer for that. So with stuff that you can get, I feel like I'm contradicting myself, because I'd be like, stuff that you can potentially get sued for because you did it wrong, but that's probably with everything. So just if you really don't feel comfortable, pay someone to get the knowledge. If you really can't find how to make a clothing company, pay an agency, I guess, but you don't need to. But yeah, I hired a lawyer for that kind of stuff. Love sour strips, but I feel like it would be better I love sour strips, but I feel like they would be even better being more sour. This is a tricky one, because a lot of people think, so I'm the biggest sour candy fan in the world. Trust me, I love sour. I want it to be like, I'm burning my mouth, But you want to appeal to the masses. You don't want to appeal to the subset of people who like candy, who like sour candy, who want the most sour candy possible. That's a smaller group of people than just people who like sour candy, right? And you want people to be able to eat more of your product too. You don't want to, although it would be cool to eat a couple pieces of sour strips and be like, oh, you don't want people to not be able to finish a whole bag. So you have to find that sweet spot, that sour spot, where the general public thinks it's sour, but yes, will the extreme sour enthusiast be like, oh, this isn't sour. Oh, it is, Johnny. It's just not like I eat one piece and I want to melt my tongue off, right? Or my tongue's melting. A prime example would be sour Skittles. Delicious. But if you eat a whole bag of sour Skittles, your whole mouth is raw. It is actually too sour. It's very sour, but after you eat one pack, your tongue is bleeding. You can't eat the sour Skittles the next day because your tongue is bleeding. I want you to be able to eat multiple bags of sour strips. So you need to find a product that, you have to think about the masses. It's not about you, it's the consumer. I see you got snakes and sparklers, but where's the good stuff? Good stuff. This is good stuff. Do you guys get my movie quotes? Do you ever fear not having financial consistency when jumping from corporate? When you are ready to make a financial leap, like going off on your own, you definitely need to make sure your finances are in order. I tracked my finances for over a year to see that they were consistent, to ensure that I was gonna have financial stability when I left my job. But it's tricky, because when you lose your job or when you quit, you're not gonna make that chunk of money anymore. But that's when you're like, I'm going all in the deep end. I really can't swim. I'm gonna be flopping around. But before you know it, you're freaking Michael Phelps doing the backstroke or the butterfly or something, man. You're gonna be fine. It's like a strategic risk taking part of your life, right? So yeah, I feel like if you know your finances, then you should be fine. I would definitely track it. I wouldn't say, I made one or two. Tay-Tay, you wanna come sit next to me with this Q&A? This is really, really long, but we'll keep it going. You don't want to have one really, really good month and then be like, yeah, I had one good month, I'm quitting my job. Screw you, Chad, my boss, right? And then the next month you don't make any money. You want to make sure you're very consistent. Consistency is king. Has there ever been a project where you lost money? Yes. I invested in a CBD water company with a bunch of other really, really successful influencers who have businesses, and you never saw it, ever. I invested $60,000 and I lost 90% of that money. I literally got my share back a week ago, and it was like $9,000, and I put $60,000 in. So I lost $50,000. It was a flop. I thought it was a good idea. We started it like years ago. It just, I was like, the CBD thing, it's gonna be a wave, and then it wasn't a wave. So luckily, that's the only thing I've invested in that's failed. I really just invest in myself, and I'll never fail at that. What?
I was gonna say you invest in our relationship.
Heck yeah, I do, and that's been the biggest ROI of my entire life. How much do you pay your guests to be on Don't Be Sour? I don't pay nothing. I don't charge people to come on the show, and I don't pay people to be on the show. It'd be cool if I could charge people to come on the show. No, I don't pay anyone. It's just everyone that I've asked has been like, yeah, like everyone who's been on the show has wanted to come on the show. There was one guy that there was a guy that I asked to be on Don't Be Sour because Mona's boyfriend was like, oh, you're going to be in San Diego. This guy lives in San Diego. You should hit him up. I hit him up. I was like, hey, you want to be on the podcast? He's like, yeah, sure. I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to be in San Diego. Do you want to do it? And he's like, yeah, I'm really busy though. My rate's $10,000. This is exactly what happened. And I said, oh, I don't pay people to be on the show. It'd be kind of weird if I did pay people to be on the show because then I feel like I'm not being like authentic. Like these are guests that want to be on. I'm paying them, right? I was like, that'd be kind of weird if I paid people. I understand you're busy. Let me know if you change your mind. Like, thanks for reaching back out to me. And he's like, he got mad at me for calling his proposition weird and said it was like unprofessional and disrespectful. I was like, oh. I should have been like, you know what? Actually, I charge people $10,000 to be on the show, so we'll negate it out, dude, and just come on there. So
it was probably the most like weird
DM
exchange I'd ever read. I was like jaw dropped. It was
and the guy that said that is someone that like it's like his like Instagram is like him getting on like private jets with like a Louis suitcase, and I'll be like, why are you like I don't know. It was just I don't know. It was a weird interaction. I was like, I wasn't trying to offend you. By saying it, I was like, I'm not saying you're weird. I'm saying
it's weird.
It would be weird if I paid everyone to be on my show.
I just have to say, Dane Cook didn't charge you.
Dane Cook didn't charge. This Q&A is getting ridiculously long. Holy shit. Okay, I'm gonna do this last one because this is what I wanted the topic of the. Oh shit, I shouldn't have done this with Taylor right here. Okay, we're just gonna go in anyway. Okay. A bit of a personal one, so feel free not to include, but what is your full breakdown of your earnings? This is a question that I wanted to answer to give some transparency of a YouTuber of my size of the how much someone like me makes on YouTube. And now then you can use that so then you can look at like someone like a Mr. Beast and be like, holy shit, right? But again, it's really how you choose to monetize it. So between my YouTube channel and Don't Be Sour, the podcast, from YouTube in 2022, I made and this is exact numbers, $138,207.55. That is what I made from just uploading YouTube videos. Literally just uploading YouTube videos. But me and this is where I'm showing you that you need to be smart of how else you can make money off of your brand, right? But on top of that, between brand deals, companies that I work with, and sponsorships of my videos, that accumulated another, let's see if that was 138. I made like $950,000 last year from social media.
Whoa.
I'm not trying to, it's weird that you're here and I'm talking about that.
Why?
We're going to share finances because we're going to be together for the rest of our life. So I basically made right under $1 million in social media, and I'm not like hyping these numbers up. This is reality. So 138,000 from YouTube, and then another a little over 800,000 from sponsorships and brand deals. So you can see that is where the money is. It's creating like a personality or a brand that other companies want to work with, and then working with a commission and whatnot. So there's a lot of money to be made in social media, and that is why I'm so fortunate that I'm able to not have to put money back in the business, that's why I don't need to take any money from Everforward or Starships, because all of that money can funnel right back in the business. And the social media money is more than enough, obviously. I got to pay a bunch of taxes on that to pay my life. So, the house and all of that. Luckily, there's a lot of expenses that I get to write off. And also, a couple of my employees are under Dude Holdings. So a lot of my employees are paid directly from social media money. They're not paid from Everforward. They're not paid from Starships, because they kind of help with like my other stuff. A lot of money that I make from social media also goes back into the business by paying employees. It's not like I just made $800,000, $900,000. And again, it's weird because I'm at the lowest views I've ever been, and that's the kind of money I'm making. And let me tell you, this is the best year that I've ever had on YouTube financially. I was not making anywhere near that. Even the $138,000 from YouTube years ago, when I was getting 100,000 views, I was making maybe 50,000 to 70,000. Like, I wasn't making a lot of money. So I think I've maybe been more strategic with the brands that I work with and how I integrate it to be successful in it. And, it seems that I'm authentic enough that people are using my commission codes and whatnot. So I feel extremely fortunate to be able to be doing this for 10 years. And that's another thing. I've been doing this for 10 years, right? To be able to do that for so long and have such success. But I also try to make sure that I don't think that number is going to stay like that forever. And I try to be smart with how I spend my money and save a lot of it for our future and, doing cool things. But yeah, that is, it's a lot of money, and there's a lot of money in social media, and that's why I understand why a lot of people want to do it. But I think a lot of people see that, or they look at other people who are probably making way more money, and think that I want to start social media because I want to be, social media rich. And that is where I think people lose the integrity of why they start, because they're doing things only to make money. And for me, I've been doing this for a decade now, and it's just recently started being really financially successful for me over the past couple of years. So I've put in a lot of work to be able to be at this point. There was 4 years, the first 4 years of my YouTube channel, I was making for the first 3 years, I was making less than I was at my job, and I was only making like $45,000 in my full-time job. So I wasn't making very much money. And it's a weird thing to talk about, because maybe people think you're like trying to be like boastful about it, but hopefully, me of all people, I'm real. So if that's all I got for that. My knees hurt. My legs hurt.
Now your back's gonna hurt because you have landscape.
Yeah, I don't know how I was gonna segue out of that.
That's how much he makes.
I'm extremely thankful and fortunate to be able to be in a position to make anywhere. I mean, that's a stupid amount of money. That's why I look at my content, and it's almost like there's so many. I feel like people more deserving, because they make such good content, and a lot of my content's dumb.
You have good content.
I don't know.
We need to go back, roll back the video where I said really nice things to you.
I know, but here's another prime example is that, let's say you didn't do the brand deals, whatever, right? The money I'm making is still very good of just YouTube, but my YouTube videos are the type of content where it's not evergreen content like a lot of people make, where they make videos and that video is constantly searchable and keeps growing in views and keeps making them money. My videos are very just this audience. So I have to keep uploading. I can't stop. Unless I want to stop that money coming in, I can't stop making YouTube videos. I don't want to stop making YouTube videos. So it's it's okay. But some people would be caught in these golden handcuffs. They're if they stopped enjoying it and they elevated their life to match how much money they're making, they're forcing themselves to keep doing something they don't want to do. So there's a lot of balance. And talking about money I'm fine with talking about it, but I feel if I don't word it correctly, people think, yeah.
Take it the wrong way.
Or
stressing yourself out.
I know. I don't know. But that's that, ladies. This is a 40-minute Holy shit.
People like listening to you talk. I like listening to you talk, so I'm sitting here. I would have said,
This is a freaking podcast. Oh my God. Okay, guys, I'm going to end this here. Go sign up for Deadlifts for Dude. If you made it to the end of this video, I didn't have a sponsor in this, so I'm not making any money.
Sponsored by Starships.
Sponsored by Sour Strips and Ever Forward. We usually have like 10%. I'm going to give a 15% code for everyone. Just it's titled
Heartbreak.
Why?
It's the day after Valentine's Day, right?
When this video's going up?
Yeah.
No, it's going up tomorrow on Sunday.
Oh,
Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
Super Bowl. Super Bowl saves you 15% on Sour Strips and Ever Forward. Go snag yourself something nice, guys. Thank you for tuning in. This was super, super long. That's what she said. And I want to say I appreciate all you guys. We have some really, 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 really cool videos coming. I can't wait to see you in the next vlog. I only do Q&As like once every 2 months. But thank you so much for tuning in. Eat more Sour Strips.
And Ever Forward. Woo!
Woof!